We're live. Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. Yeah. The rabbit hole and the shit show all in one. All for one.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you could be here too, Walleye King, But yeah, it's warm here. It's 80 degrees here in the studio. And I don't have a fan going. But yeah, there's plenty of people on to be the fans, right? Hey, Milkman Doom, nice to see you. Flutter Girl, always a pleasure. Walleye King, a pleasure as well. Susan, Big T-shirt Billy, Quake Cat in the UT. I don't know what the UT means anymore, but Quake Cat. New Brunswick, Canada guy, better known as Canuck, is on the line with me here. Doc Rock 18, Lake Girl 19, Brainstorm, Snarls, and Uncle Milty. I love it when Uncle Milty comes out, and San Diego Dan. And the rest of you, you don't want to be told, so I don't tell your names, but I can see you. I ain't gonna burst your bubble. Yeah, it's the pellets. It's the pellet show.
It's a lightning strike burning bush show.
You're right. Oh my gosh. What a day, what a day, what a day. Yeah, there was a burning bush out behind my house when a lightning strike hit it. And I went out there with the shovel to try to put it out, but it was, by the time I got there, it went out. And the fire department didn't know where it was because it was out. But when it got in the car, you can smell the smoke. So it was really close. And, it's pretty dry right now. It hasn't rained in a while. But yeah, anyway.
Well, we have fire ban here.
Unbelievably terrific, she says. I like it. All right, Quake Cat.
And extreme dryness or whatever.
Yeah, your extreme dryness.
But we didn't get heavy rain tonight for like 50
Are you going to show your hole, Walleye King? Is that what you're saying? Please don't. That would not be good.
The whole show is in triangles. Triangular shaped holes.
Yeah. So the latest is, if we look at it right now, X-rays. Today or yesterday now, UT, because we have a new UT. We're on May 16th, the UT. On May 15th, we had 2 X flares. And late on the, wait, are we on the 16th? I'm sorry. Yes, today's still the 15th for me. On the 14th, late in the 14th, we had an X 8-point booger. A big 8.7, 6. It was a big one. Yeah, 8.56, something like that. And let me make sure I got it right. In 23, we had an M9.2, 9.6 this day, but this is tomorrow's numbers, so I'm not going to read that. I just want to find 8.79. That's what it was. So big X 8.79. They always take control of my computer. Don't like it. It's disconcerting. It's like, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, 8.79. Has there been any kind of, other than I want to say Ebu blasted to 20,000 feet, 22, I think, right? Is there any big earthquake that happened? I've been out of the loop all day, so please.
I don't know that I know of. I don't remember my phone going off or anything.
Yeah. What's the latest on Iceland?
Well, nothing's happening there right now. They're working away trying to build the second wall. It's going to take them 2.5 weeks, I guess, but they're hoping that they can get it done before it erupts again.
Yeah, last I heard, it's ready to erupt.
Yeah, but their data was screwed up for 2 days because of the solar storm. So it messed up the elevation data. So they thought it was actually had stopped or was deflating.
Oh,
So
geez, the sun's
so
crapping all over the place.
yeah, so it messed it up for a couple days, but when they got it all the instruments back working right again, they say no, it's still inflating, and it's got like the most in the magma chamber now as it has so far, I guess.
All right.
So they think like 14, whatever it is, million cubic
The last
meters.
I heard, it's going to another location because it's done with the old locations.
Well, they don't know. They're debating that.
Yeah.
Like whether it's going to come up in the same spot or different spot or move to the west. There's another crater row right beside the Blue Lagoon that nobody talks about, but just Icelandic guy
Would
was
you say it
talking.
was
Another crater row, so another that's right next to where Blue Lagoon is. That the people that live there know about it, but nobody else seems to be talking about it. So I don't know. So some of the people are based upon where the earthquakes are now, where they've had them right next to Mount Thorburn and on the other side, saying that it could come up in one of those crater row or old Fisher row that's closer to town. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, my bet's either Peru, the Kurils, or
Yeah.
or
But
or
Wilsey's actually over there right now, and he has his students there on a field trip, and he went and did a tour of Grindavik there today with his friend there, the mod, because she got permission to take him into town and show him stuff, I guess.
Right. Well, that's great for him. So, yeah, I can't promote him because he's a YouTube star now.
Yeah.
But we can refer to him, But I can't show him because he's making money on YouTube, and I can't show. He hasn't given me permission. Unlike Professor Nick, he's given me, carte blanche.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's stopping Professor Nick from cleaning up is doing a report once a week. If he did one once a week, he would be cleaning up money wise, And
yeah, that's true.
It takes once a week. That's what minimum you have to do.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And he's supposed to meet with the Just Icelandic guy too, I guess, while he's there.
Yeah, that's great. I like that guy. I know he's trying to make money on YouTube too, but he's actually, putting videos together and trying. He's trying to get people to come to Iceland. So it's for a different. He's a tour guide kind of dude.
Yeah, and he's done all sorts of like historical stuff.
Right. And he's from that,
Yeah, and he actually lived in Grindavik for I forget how many years it was. So that's how he knows all
the ins and the outs,
cool stuff around there. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. What's the story with interesting? What is it? Was it the Sudan or some sort of quake in Africa somewhere other than down here? South Africa.
Was it there one in Ethiopia? I forget what day that was.
No, I think it was it Libya? U.S. just doesn't have it. Syria. Thank you, Flutter Girl. In Syria, a very unusual but the USGS doesn't have it, so I have to go to EMSC and try to look that up.
What size was it?
I don't know, bud. I think I was talking with Flutter Girl when I don't say flutter by because she's not going to flutter by and say goodbye. I say Flutter Girl. So if you don't know who I'm talking about, that's who I'm talking about. Antofagasta Chile just had a 4.2. Eastern Turkey's been bouncing for a long time, man. Eastern and Western. Puerto Rico's got a 2.5. Slovenia, nothing. Tarapaca, Pyrenees. Canary. Puerto Rico, 3.9. Eastern Turkey with a bunch of little ones. The Aegean Sea, a little small. Catamarca, Argentina, nothing. Western Texas got a 3.2. The Mog Islands. Mariana's got a 4.5. The Aegean Sea again. I'm not seeing the Syrian. Sulawesi had a 4.1 again. Sulawesi, man, I don't know, man. And Southern Mid-Atlantic Ridge, that's a big one right there, 5.3. Every time the Mid-Atlantic Ridge goes, you better look over in the middle, in Indonesia and PNG. Something in that range, or even in the Indian Ocean, because it happens a lot. It's like a precursor. South of Fiji, 535 depth, a 4.4. Oaxaca had a 4.3. I'm not seeing it. The Ionian Sea again. Oh. West Texas, a little 2.3. Mid-Indian Ridge, there it is. See that? I told you. This happened after 6 hours ago. I think they're related somehow. I think on one side of the plate versus the other, the African plate. I don't know where it is, but I thought I heard it whistle. I might have turned it down. Yeah, I did. I turned it down. I put it in chat. Oh, okay. Oh, Ethiopia. No, that's a different one, bud. It was a strange quake in Syria. Ethiopia they have a volcano down there that's acting up, so that kind of makes sense.
Well, here, I'll see if I can find the Syria one on my app. It's just I haven't looked at it since this morning.
Yeah, I'm only 7 hours back right now, so I'm working at it. Chiapas 4.3, Oaxaca, Michoacan 3.9. Syria, 2 quakes, 3.3 and a 2.0. 7 hours 45 minutes ago. I don't know if that's the one that Flutter's talking about. It may have been a larger one. And it's out in the middle of freaking nowhere. But there's a triple junction just north of it. And that's that's Turkey up there. And then here's Israel over here. Iran and Russia's over here. All right. Yeah. People with blue houses, their houses didn't get hurt. So I know, me too. 8 hours.
Yeah, it looks like the same spots of where the Turkey quakes were before.
Right. And then there was a couple that hit Syria as well.
Because it's right close there to the border.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I just thought it was an interesting, kind of like, hey, you step on a dog?
No, it was opening up an ad in the app.
Oh,
earthquake app. looking to see what other stuff here is.
Oh. Wait. Sorry. Could you see it? Oh man, it's only 8 seconds long. There it is. There we go. Oh, it's 23 seconds longer. Put it in chat, he says. I'm nice to have you catch back from me. You scribble your name in my slab, you catch a backhand from me. Yeah. And that's what my boy says. Yeah, don't screw up my work. Makes it look bad. Costa Rica, I don't know.
No, but I don't remember my phone going off today very often. I remember the Puerto Rico quake, but that was it. Of course, it only goes off for 5, so.
Well, there you go. We have the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, a southern portion of it, 5.3. We have Argentina, 4.3. We have 5.3 Tonga. We have the 4.4 Fiji, all in that, below. Well, I guess one's just above Tropic of Cancer. Then the scary one is the 4.9 that's over by Krakatoa. This area over here, and there you go. Syria swarming. Okay, Kat. I saw 2 quakes. I didn't see any more, hon. Hey, Eagles, how are you, bud? Nice to see you. Yeah, but saw a video yesterday with my mother-in-law. I told you this morning. Krakatoa had an eruption one day, and these guys were videotaping it from Volcano Discovery of all places. And they go boom, boom, and it was starting to, pot off, and pyroclastic flows into the ocean. And they decided to, get back a little bit. It wasn't 2 weeks or 2 months later, one of the two, that it exploded in a big tsunami, wiped out the area. In 2014, I think it was. And I thought that was interesting. So I always watch Krakatoa because it's in a precarious place. Similarly, but there's no volcano there, the Cook Strait. I watch that pretty well. And also similarly, over here in the DR and what Haiti and in Kingston, Cuba, Jamaica there. And then also on Puerto Rico side, the DR, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean islands. I watch those areas because those are precarious as well. Yeah, some of it's due to subduction and some of it's due to just they get quakes. And USGS is just not showing much. Here's that interesting Southern Texas again, another 3. Very weird. The same spot's been pounding. If I did a month, let's see what its own month says. 30 days. Yeah, look at that. And I'm going to zoom in for you. This is 1 month old. What do you think is right here? If I'm not mistaken, it's well, no, that's up here. What is right here? What is it about this little something in southern Texas that's an issue? Interesting. Huh. And then of course the swarm in West Texas. Of course the Wasatch Fault. And yeah, go back to one day. All right. I don't know, man. I don't know. Today's flares. Oh my gosh, the sun is just booming. Boom, there's one. That's the one we saw this morning. Boom, here's another one. Boom, there's
Yeah,
another.
because they're coming from the left side of the
Yeah.
I think the X
Yeah.
not the right side.
Well, I think that 24 is finally, it's around the corner now. And when it let off that 8 point whatever, they believe it to be higher. I think it let off and a filament went out with it in that explosion right there. Something really just let off. And then the west side, go figure, eh? And I think there's 4 or 5 of them that are on space weather that they say is, 70, 75, 76, 79, and 82. New source of flares emerging from the western limb. That's what I was worried about. 1438 UT, it emitted an X3 class explosion. It's just coming around the corner. It's like, hey,
Well, when you watched all the things on Wages World report he had there last night that showed the big flare coming off on the right hand side, but then it went all the way across to the other side and made one of the
halo.
Made one of the spots on the left hand side go off too, and then the filament came off in the middle, between the two. But you have to look at all like super close to see it with all the different things because it's hard to see. But I don't know if it's directly at us or not because I never heard anything more about it today. So I don't know.
No, but that X still give us a little zapperini. If I look at the flare absorption, look at it. It's pretty crazy right now. There we go. It's zapping. It's zapping away.
But the wildfires are going crazy in northern Canada.
Oh, yeah?
We haven't got too many earthquakes.
A filament is an electrical string of plasma that is it goes out from the sun and comes back to the sun. And I think generally on one side is positive, the other side is negative. And periodically it gets detached and throws gobs of plasma out like a whip. And the sun, shoots a bunch of crap at us. And our planet is absorbing it. I don't know, man. If this is anything like when we had the 3 7.6s, I think we're in for a couple of doozies, maybe a couple of 8s. That's basically why filaments are so important.
Well, I think that's what enhanced all the fires up north when I started looking at all the places they're at.
Yeah.
Where they started.
I know North America got hit pretty damn hard. I'm seeing a few fires here on firms. British Columbia's got a couple, but way north up in the Northwest Territory almost, there's a group of fires. And then Central Alberta's got a fire.
It's where all the places they have all the big diamond mining exploration going on right now. It's just pretty interesting.
Yeah. If I'm zooming in, remember too that there is methane leaking from the ground up here, right? Methane and CO2 and escaping as the ground does what? Melts. Yeah. The north is melting. And as it melts, it gets dry. And there's a lot of vegetation up there that's I mean, you should see some of the trees. It's so dense. It's like you can't stop it. You got to let it burn. And in burning, it puts down enough charcoal for other trees to grow. It's natural.
Yeah, because that big fire by Fort Nelson is burning from where all the mining exploration is towards the town.
Right.
Because I started looking up all the things they're doing up there now, and they're talking about building a liquid natural gas plant up there to power all the mines that they're going to open. It's crazy stuff.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
Going to piss off Trudeau, whatever his name is.
Well, see what it is now. It's all the other stuff that they're looking for up there, other than the natural gas, right? Because it's all in demand. Diamonds.
I got your natural gas.
And lithium and all that stuff, because that's what they're all looking for up there now. They're also doing it over by Fort McMurray, where the other big fire is.
They couldn't do this 100 years ago because up there was still frozen.
Yeah.
You know, the little ice age ended like in 1910 or something.
Because what they're actually doing is taking all the soil samples from where the oil and gas fields are, because they're in all those places that are burning up, and they're checking them for kimberlites. That's what they're doing up there.
Yeah.
Because there's certain kimberlites that indicate diamonds, and that's what they're looking for. So it's crazy stuff.
Somebody wants to get rich, and you can buy everybody, even Trudeau. Yeah.
They're talking about.
Did you see the interview with his brother?
Yeah, they're talking about opening up a big manganese mine here.
Oh, manganese? All right.
Yeah, because they need it for microchips and weapons of mass destruction. You can use it for both.
Hey,
there's two types of manganese. One they use to strengthen steel, and the other kind they use for microchips.
There you go.
I know. I've been studying it for a while here. Because we have manganese like right up the yin yang in all our water. It's bad.
Bad manganese. And you need a filter, baby.
Yeah, because they used to mine it here, back in the early 1900s for when they first started building steel ships. That's what they used it for strengthening the
Hold on, I
steel
gotta
in
grab
the
a beer.
ships.
Keep telling them I gotta grab a beer. I'll be right back.
Because my cousins actually lived on one of the roads out. It's called Iron Ore Hill Road. That was the name of it. So I started researching. I said, well, why is it called that? I said, and then I found out it's an old road they used to use to get to where the iron ore mine with the manganese was, and back in like the early 1900s. So I said, oh, that's exciting. And then come to find out, they just announced all this manganese stuff. Of course, I've known about it for probably 10 or 15 years now, because when I worked for the Economic Development Agency here, I looked all that stuff up because I wanted to know who all the mining companies here that were doing exploration. So it didn't surprise me that they're planning to do all this, because they keep finding all this stuff.
I mean, QuakeCat says mining is so destructive. You know what, though? We wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't drive cars. We'd be riding horses.
Yeah.
And even in riding horses, they still need, mining for the horseshoes. So.
Yeah. But the problem is the newer stuff, like lithium, is even more harmful to the environment than, and they just found a whole bunch in Maine, all along the same fault line that goes by me. Well, that same fault line is where all the manganese is. It's all the same thing. So if they kept going down far enough, they're probably going to find that there's lithium all under here too. Because this is what they do, right? They start looking for one thing, and then they go, oh, crap. And they take all these samples, what they're doing, and then they find out there's all this other stuff, because it's always been related. It just may be down a bit farther than whatever was Here they started looking for gold first back a few years ago. Now they're finding friggin' going crazy with everything. And we have a lot of molybdenum and tungsten here in New Brunswick too, which is not good because I found that out. That's all from the center of calderas. So that means that there's a whole crap load of calderas here in New Brunswick that they
don't know about.
Well, or they haven't said anything about. But it makes sense because we have so many lakes. Because in the calderas is where you get all the lakes, right? So it's crazy stuff. So
yeah, Kennecott, Utah is a big outfit.
I started looking up all the mining studies for here back. I don't know how many years ago it was now, quite a while ago. And then I started cluing in when I started looking them all up. And then I said, well, I'm going to look up where all the biggest molybdenum and tungsten mines are in North America. And every single one was that like a super volcano caldera.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because the biggest one is Long Valley. The second biggest one is Utah. Yeah. So I started looking all to see where they all were, and every single one is like a caldera, super volcano.
I wonder if there's some around the Wawa.
Yeah, I think that's where it was close to Wawa. But there's so many super volcanoes in Utah and Nevada too, if you go investigating. So it's just crazy. So this is where and they're finding lithium too, where the super volcanoes are. So that's probably another reason why they're finding so much in Maine, because they're going right crazy with it in Maine, finding it all over the place. They said there's enough just in Maine to put China and Russia out of business, I guess. So I imagine there's probably just as much here.
Yeah.
So it's crazy stuff, but that's what's going on everywhere. Yeah. And like it's all over the place. Like even China's up there in the north.
Well, they use silver, they use gold, they use platinum, they use all kinds of brass or copper for conductivity in computers. What's the biggest thing in the world? Computers. Your phone is a computer. Your computer is a computer,
And there's fires in Manitoba, too, that they're evacuating people for. And it's right by all the mining in Flin Flon, Manitoba. Because I already looked Flin Flon up before.
Well, so somebody wants to claim some land, I think.
Well, I think it has to do with the stuff in the ground is all reacting to the solar storms and making all these fires. That's what I think, anyway. And that it's burning up by Yellowknife again, which Yellowknife is like the diamond capital in North America. So that's in the Northwest Territories. So basically, I started looking at all the stuff and the new stuff. They're like searching for diamonds. And I looked it up. I said, no, that can't be. I just was looking Fort Nelson, and then I said, oh, crap. I started looking into the where they were looking for diamond. This is every friggin' place that's on fire up there. And like over the other side of Alberta by Fort McMurray they are, and they're also doing it in Manitoba. So it's just friggin' crazy. I started looking, and then I started reading studies on BC, and then it said, oh, well, the other place, this whatever company, Tryon, I think it was called. And they have like places they're looking at all over northern Canada. And then it kept listing all these places. And then every one I looked was like the same places that were on fire. I said, well, this is friggin' nuts. And all I did was read stuff for maybe like an hour. And all the new studies were like between 2018 and 2023 that I read. And it's all because they've been up, because it's all like the same places the natural gas and oil fields are. So that's where they've got all the samples of soil samples from those companies. But now the mining people are all going crazy up there because now they said, oh, crap, we got all this other stuff up here. We got to get in there and get it. And they're from everywhere. It's the U.S., Australia, Canada, freaking China. Same thing as when I looked up all the mining stuff around the world before. There's always like 4 different countries that are trying to get all the stuff, so it doesn't matter where it is. So then I just look up the company names, and I already recognize some of them. So then I just look at a certain company, and I can find where they're like. It's right in their articles. Like when a Tryon, I think, is the name of the one that's doing a whole bunch of stuff, northern BC. So I just looked it up, and in the same article, it said where they were doing their exploration in the article. And I said, well, look, it's all the same places that are on fire. That's quite the coincidence. So it's fun. So I don't know what's going on, but it's all the fires have just happened in all those same places since we had the storm. But if you look at the geoelectric field map on there when it was doing the storming, that's all the places that were being lit up. It's the same places on there that are getting the fires now, northern Canada. But the weather's supposed to cool down, and they're actually supposed to get snow there, so hopefully that will calm the stuff down here in the next few days, I hope. But we'll see.
Well, everything's calmed down right now. I mean, really. It's hard. It's hard to find anything that's happening at the moment. So,
well, it wasn't last night because they were evacuating everywhere this morning.
Well, up in Canada, yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, keep those reports coming to us. Let us know so we can pray for those people, or keep that in the news because it can get kind of lost, right?
Yeah, well, Fort McMurray, that's the biggest concern right now because you have to drive south. You have to drive south to get out of there. Well, that's the fires coming up from the south right into like what it did in 2016. So,
oh, that's Fort Nelson I was looking at.
Yeah, Fort Nelson's over in BC side.
Right.
Because actually the people
McMurray's down here, yeah.
Yeah, in Fort Nelson.
There's a bunch of mining going on up there.
Yeah, the people in Fort Nelson are actually evacuating toward Peace River, which is in Alberta. That way to get away from the fire.
Yeah, like Fort McKay, Fort McMurray. The fires are in the south. They have to go north. Yeah, they got to go north.
Yeah, but the road only goes up there to the
it does
tar sands. That's where it goes, right? Like after that, it doesn't go anywhere. So you can drive to the oil sands, but that's as far as you get.
Well, there is other roads there.
And then you go the other way, and it Athabasca
stream
oil tar sands. So there's
why they did that. They just
uranium over there too.
Just kicked me off. I don't understand that. Did we lose chat too?
Everybody. Didn't do anything here, but
no, it kicked me. It kicked us off because it said you joined. I went, wait, you're still talking. Whoop, now you're not.
Oh, that's weird. Probably doesn't like me talking about all these things. It's
right.
too obvious.
Because
you just go look it all up. And
Spain has a crazy history. The Romans used water to flatten the mountain range in order to get the precious metals. They know where it's at. They know where it's at. Yeah.
But it's interesting stuff anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah, and that barge that ran into the bridge in Texas. Did you see about that?
Yeah, I heard about it. Spilling a bunch of oil.
Yeah. Galveston, I think it was.
Was it in Galveston? Oh.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of strange stuff going
on. Let me see if I can find it. Texas barge hits bridge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hits bridge in Galveston, causing an oil spill. Oh, the bridge collapsed. Another bridge collapses. Oh, look at that. Sure did. It collapsed. That's a railway bridge that collapsed. Yeah.
Well, I
Crazy.
thought I read they don't use the railway to the island anymore, but the rail,
Yeah,
or
it looks pretty wasted out. Yeah.
yeah, they still use it as a highway bridge for people to get onto
Yeah.
the
And that looks pretty safe.
whatever the name of the island is. I forget.
Yeah. Yeah, and it looks like the barge is what's leaking. I can see it now. All right. Here's where I found it for anybody else. Fox 26 Houston. Can't put
Well,
everything of,
in the preliminary report came out for the Baltimore Bridge there last night, I think it was, or yesterday. So I saw some about that too, and they said that ship was having power problems like 2 days before it ran into the bridge. So that was in the preliminary report, but it never. Well, they don't have the final report done up yet. And I saw that they were blowing up the bridge to get it off the container ship, the part that fell on the container ship there.
Oh yeah. I saw them blow that up yesterday.
Yeah, I saw videos of that too. They were explaining like how they put the charges on it in order to get it to fall down off the cargo ship into the water. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Tornadoes today. Have we had many tornadoes today?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't
Because
remember.
we've had a few bad ones in the last few days.
Yeah, I don't remember getting any of my storm chaser notification things today.
All right.
So I assume we haven't had anything too bad. I think there was severe thunderstorms and big hail in Texas. I remember seeing that earlier today,
Well,
but it's supposed to happen again towards the weekend again, I think. Whatever I watched yesterday or the day before, I don't even remember which one I was watching now.
that's where I'm at. I'm quite a bit lost right now. Yeah, Mount Raung has gone quiet again. They've downgraded Mount Raung, so it's not exploding. When it did its thing. Oh my god. I'll save that for later. What? Yeah, that was 2 years ago. I can't bring that one up because it's old. Well, shit, howdy.
And I know in New Zealand they've been going around doing all sorts of presentations on the Haikarangi subduction zone, and the model they have for it now is 9.1 because there's new things that came out on it since March, I think it was.
What's that?
So the subduction zone there off the North Island of New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're going around and like talking about all the new studies, like in all the communities there along the coast, because they basically said they've underestimated how bad it can be, I guess.
We've been running into that quite a bit. They continue to underestimate the reality of stuff.
Because they found from the tsunami studies from before that it was way worse than when it's happened the other times and what their models. So they've updated all their earthquake and tsunami models again, which is why they've been going around to all the communities there along the coast of the North Island of New Zealand, trying to get them all on board to prepare for all this, I guess. So, well, it's like what they did with updating all the stuff in Cascadia after Japan. It's the same thing.
I mean, we all know what to do, and it's like, why are they still having to train people what to do? People
well, it's because they're finding that it goes in like way farther than what they thought, so they had to redo every freaking thing. Well, it's the same thing. Same thing is happening now in New Zealand. So they got to change their plans on how they're going to evacuate all this other stuff, or how far they have to go, or where they got to go to, or all that. So that's what's going on, I guess.
I just saw a report that Michael Obama is suing Joan Rivers.
For what?
I don't know. Probably because he said he's a transvestite. You know, it is what it is. Yeah.
Well, what's so funny about all this stuff that they're studying, it always seems to be worse. Whenever they do anything, it always ends up worse. Once they do all the stuff on it, every single time. Doesn't matter if it's a fault or a tsunami study or whatever. And then they go around trying to get everybody to pay attention, but it's like information overload, and everybody's saying, well, I'm just worried about having enough money to get groceries next week. So they're not concerned about the wildfire, the tsunami, or the whatever right now. And that's how all this. So the government can put out all this information that they want, or the scientists or whatever, but if people aren't even paying attention to it, it's not going to make any difference.
Well, how much attention do you actually pay to the government? I know.
Well, I do.
Be careful with your way you answer that question, because I know.
Well, I do all the time, but I've always been like that. So,
right.
I always watch what they're doing.
There's a dude that's on YouTube. He's saying 2,000 earthquakes just hit Canada's coast, and a major warning is issued. It's West Coast, of course, and it's 14 hours old.
Well, what does he mean by 2,000 quakes? Is he talking about all the ones that are on the Narcan up there?
Yeah.
Or something else?
Off of Vancouver.
Well, that's what it does. I wouldn't worry about it till there's like 4s.
Well, yeah. I can tell this chair's going to collapse, so I better.
Like 2s or 3s are not that big of a deal, but once it gets to be 4s, then I'd be worried.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
But based upon all the wildfires, we should end up getting a big one up there at some point. And when I look that up all the other times, there's always like big quakes in Central America before, and you get them in
Hawaii before they get California, yeah.
And the Caribbean before Pacific Northwest gets a big one. And that's how it works historically. So it makes sense to me that Puerto Rico got the 5.6. So it should get something way bigger than that before you get the bigger quake in the Pacific Northwest, wherever it is. Can be anywhere from Oregon all the way up to southeast Alaska, basically.
Well,
and in those instances, it kind of jumps over California, so it goes from like Central America. So like where we had the 6.4 in Guatemala there the other day.
Yeah, I think it goes through the desert rather than the coast, right?
Yeah, it almost jumps over California when they get the bigger ones, like up Oregon and above. So it's interesting how it works, but well, that's how it does historically anyway. And for California to get hit with a bigger one, there's always like a big quake in South America right before, like within so many weeks, like 5 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's 90 days, right? When
Yeah.
Peru gets an 8 within 90 days, California gets a good one.
And we haven't had anything big in like South America now in quite a
No,
while.
no,
Hasn't
it's
been
been a
anything.
minute. Yeah, it's been a
We
minute.
get like fives down there, Chile, but there hasn't been.
It just hasn't been much.
No, hasn't been too much. So I don't know. We just got to wait and see what it's going to do. But I don't know. And now the Iceland volcano stopped erupting, so we'll see if it does it again.
If Iceland stops erupting, we got to look at Etna, and then we also look at the what do you call it? The one where we watched that dude quite a bit, you know?
Yeah, ask you
Yeah.
because they're watching that.
Off the islands of Africa. What is it called?
Oh, La Palma.
La Palma. Yeah. Oh well, it is what it is.
But I imagine it'll be all summer. It'll be wildfires again. That's the main thing everybody's focused on now.
There's so much water that's been deposited over the winter up there. I mean, you Canadians, got a lot of water, a lot of rain up there. I mean, you got it. El Nino really just walloped the hell out of the Yukon and the Northwest Territories and British Columbia. Just walloped the hell out of them.
Yeah, but they didn't get much snow this year.
No, so but they got a ton of rain.
Well, no, not really. They got more rain than they did.
All the storms went up there.
Than they did snow.
Right.
But
it just wasn't cold enough, is what you're saying.
No, and it wasn't cold enough up there, and it's been super dry. So if you read all the stuff about up there, because they're saying that it's the wildfire season is starting way sooner this year than what it did last year. So we'll see what happens.
Well,
like Calgary and Edmonton have like drought conditions or whatever already.
Oh yeah,
and it's just the start of spring.
Yeah, I don't know about my buddy up there in North Dakota. He didn't get any snow hardly at all.
Yeah. Well, it was even worse farther north, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know how Montana did in Idaho.
Well, we got a fair amount of rain here, but the last, like, say, month or so, it hasn't been. We haven't got too much rain. Because that's how I've been doing all this stuff outside. Because this time last year, I couldn't have done all that because it was like raining every day.
Yeah. I know they found a guy, a middle-aged man, today, his body on the Colorado River because he made his own raft and disappeared. They found his body.
Yeah, because one of the guys there I watch in Ontario, he works construction and he has a line painting business. And he was actually painting lines in parking lots in February this year in Ontario, which he said he's never ever done that, where he could actually, it was warm enough that he could paint lines in the parking lots and stuff with his line painting business, which he usually only runs like in the summertime in Ontario, or from like, I don't know, June till October or whatever. And he said this year he could actually do line painting in like February, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So that meant it was warm enough there that they could actually put the paint on the ground without it being all messed up.
So, the state of emergency is declared in New Caledonia right now.
For what?
Don't know. I'm trying to find out. Oh, I guess uprising of some sort.
Oh. Yeah, we'll need a big earthquake to calm the uprising down.
Rioting. Yeah, New Caledonia is pissed off.
I wonder what that's about.
Well, let's see what she has to say. I guess it's all about representation. The world has gone amok, man.
Yeah, well, even on the islands, they're not happy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an an understanding of some what's going on in the world. I'm so freaking out of it today. Just crazy. I know Biden and Trump are going to debate. That's a farce. I think somebody's trying to make some money. And it ain't the presidents, either of them. But I don't know what the hell. Slovakia's prime minister was shot and critically injured.
He's still in the hospital, I guess. I don't know. I haven't heard anything more.
I hope he survives. Yeah.
There's all sorts of crazy stuff going on.
Yeah,
Oh, and the new thing in Canada now is all the copper thieves are stealing the chargers to the electric cars.
Yeah, I saw that across the U.S. too.
Yeah,
they're stealing the handles. I guess there's a lot of copper in it.
Yeah, because people have been going to here in Canada, they put them close to the Trans-Canada Highway. Now they've been putting them all over the place, so that like when people are driving on the Trans-Canada Highway, they can go off and charge up their Tesla or electric car or whatever. And so now all these people are driving off to charge up their stuff, and they go and the things are all gone out of the chargers, so they can't do anything. So they're all sitting there on the side of the road, and they can't charge their car.
Yeah, welcome to the electric car.
Yeah,
unless you're generating your own. Unless you're doing it.
So it strikes me funny now. Now the copper thieves are targeting all the charging places for the electric cars. So that it's bad enough there's not enough power to charge all these electric cars. Now the chargers don't work because they go in there and the copper's all missing on them. So I don't know. It's like a comedy of errors now, one thing after another.
Right.
Because I don't know where you're supposed to go to charge your car, because the government's like spending billions of dollars on all these chargers they're putting on the main highways so everybody can charge up their stuff. Now they can't even charge it. So I don't know what they're going to do. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I contemplated putting a charger in my house just to, in the garage, just to have it as a resale item if we ever decided to sell the house.
Yeah, well, I guess people now are stealing gasoline more here too, but the police said don't even bother calling us about it anymore.
Why?
They just said because so many people are filling up with gas and just driving off because the price of gas is like right through the roof since carbon tax increased 23% on April 1st. So now all these people are just filling up their car with gas and driving off. So I don't know. They can't win. So the electric chargers for the electric vehicles are all screwed up, and now everybody's stealing gas. So
Stealing gas, stealing electrical.
yeah, stealing
The
copper.
powers that be are creating this crap.
Yeah, so it's just like one
Prop one,
disaster thing after another.
yeah, Prop one, money will be available ahead of schedule. So says Governor Gruesome. You know what he did? He taxed everybody's electricity, so he's going to give the money away to homeless people. Now, homeless people most of them want to be there because they don't want to be told what to do. You know, it's just, oh yeah. I mean, there are mentally challenged people that need help, but the people that are doing drugs, their attitude is, "You're a fool to go to work. I don't have to work." Well, how do you feed yourself? Well, I rob you. What? Yeah, that's me working. I rob you.
Well, in one of the
What?
universities here, they figured out the pro-Palestinian protesters that were there. Only 25% of them actually went to the university.
Well, yeah, there's a big blow up right now in UC Irvine, which is in Southern Cal. It's a pro-Palestinian protest. It's escalating, and the police are there to do something.
So, like 75% of the people there weren't even from the university. So they're trying to figure out where they came from or who they are or what they're doing there. So it's just crazy.
They're arresting these yahoos. A lot of Chinese people.
Well, they are some places in Canada too, but other places they've just left them. So I don't know. It's just not.
I guess they try to make a tent city there in Irvine, and well, these kids. I'll go to jail. I'll go to jail.
Yeah, well, they're doing the
general population. See what happens.
The same thing in all the places, pretty much. They set up their tent city or whatever it is and stay there.
Yeah, they're all videotaped with their phones. Someday the police are going to flick a switch and all your phones are going to stop working. And you're going to go, "Hey," and then they come and arrest you. That's going to happen. And these stupid idiots. Hey, the Palestinian bugs need to be dealt with. Palestinian people, I wouldn't say are bad people, but the bugs are. And if you don't know who the bugs are, you're not alive.
Well, they're still blowing up all the stuff underground over there.
Oh yeah,
it's on all the live feeds.
Netanyahu says
blowing it up every day.
Yeah, Netanyahu says, "Hey, pound sand. We're not Americans. We're not a vassal of the United States because old Biden is withholding from them illegally." Remember how they impeached President Trump for saying that he did that? Well, he didn't, but hey,
Well, and I thought they'd blown up all the tunnels already in central and northern Gaza. They're blowing them all up again.
Yeah, I like the idea of flooding them.
Well, you think they would have done that way before this, but I don't know what they're doing. Seems kind of strange to me.
Yeah.
And I've watched the live streams of them bombing, and it's all like out in the middle of nowhere. It's like in fields. And then there's a big explosion, and you see this big plume, and then all the smoke comes up out of the ground. So apparently there was a whole bunch of rockets and rocket fuel all down there under the ground because I don't know what's making all the big plumes. So it's crazy. So they must have like bazillions of rockets and stuff all underground there because I don't know what all this stuff, like you can see, because I've been watching the live feeds, the jets fly over and drop bombs, but
Mm.
They're also using Apache helicopters and stuff. You can see it on the live streams, and you'll see like an explosion, like in the way out in the field, because it's cams either looking from Israel from into northern Gaza or from central Gaza in, or from Israel into central Gaza. You can see it close enough. You can see them moving tanks and all that stuff, but so you get these explosions that are like out in the field because all the buildings are all blown to pieces now anyway from all the previous stuff. So like where they're dropping the bombs and all and firing the stuff from the Apache helicopters and all that is all out like in the open fields where all the tunnels are underneath or wherever they keep all the stuff. And you'll see it like when it hits, it makes like a small explosion, like going into the ground, but then all of a sudden there's this big plume that comes up and goes like way up in the sky. So it's like, and it's burning and it burns for like minutes or hours or whatever. It's crazy, crazy stuff. So I don't know. It's all wild. So,
It's the Senate is live right now. That was a little bit of what one senator is saying, what's going on. The Senate Republicans speak on restrictions, Israel versus Gaza war. It's happening, man. They're all talking about it. And
like you don't see too much stuff from Rafa or whatever they call it,
yeah.
But any of the cams that are pointed into there from Israel are still showing stuff.
Well,
so it's crazy.
There's only one way to get rid of bugs, dude. You got to kill them.
But it looks to me like they're blowing up just as much stuff in northern Gaza and central Gaza as they are down in the south.
They're destroying it all. And a lot of people don't understand what's going on. And why is there fierce gun battles raging in Gaza?
Well, you can hear it because you can hear the machine guns.
So there are terrorists there.
Yeah, both on the Apache helicopters, and you can hear it on the tanks too, on the live streams.
And Egypt, last I heard, was not letting them cross the border.
And they must have missiles that they're shooting at the Apache helicopters, because I saw the Apache shooting off flares and then like moving away from where they were whatever they were shooting at with their rockets and their machine gun, and then they like moved farther away and they shot the chaff flares or whatever they do, like when they're locked on with missiles. So they must have all that stuff, because I don't know what they'd be doing that for. So it's crazy. Like, I don't understand it now, because I thought they'd blown up like everything in northern Gaza. But now they're all back blowing up the same places all again.
Rafah is 64 square miles. And
yeah, but it's down at the bottom, like the southern part.
And they're taking out everything, but there are a lot of innocent people there, and unfortunately, they're catching hell.
Well, I don't know if there really is, because probably every family probably has somebody that has something to do with the Hamas. So I don't know. It's crazy.
You're a cynic. I love it.
Well, where all the things come up, they're all in like all the hospitals or the universities or the people's backyards or whatever. Because like when they
come right up, right, and the trenches are in everybody's house, and
because from those things I've watched, they come up like out there in the field. There's like nothing, like in northern Gaza. There, it's just fields between it and the fences at the border. But yet they come up out of the ground there and start shooting, and then you'll see the tanks shooting back another way that they just already went by, and it's just like nuts. so there's like all these friggin' holes. It's like gophers coming up or something. They're like everywhere. So I don't know. It's just crazy. But by what I read when I started reading about all the tunnels that were there, they've been building them for I don't know how long. going like way back to in the 90s, all under Gaza. So there's the whole place is just like a big tunnel, like a big tunnel system. The whole place. Well,
Right.
I read some of the seismic reports that they had there, and they said if they got like a 6.5 earthquake, the whole friggin' place would collapse.
It would drop 10 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, so it would all just like all fall down in, and they said that's happened there before from the stuff they've studied on the Israel side. So they have got quakes big enough there before that would be like 6.5 to 7, and the whole place would all collapse. Well, it would do it even worse now because they have all tunnels all built under there. So you'd have to go in and all like put all new soil in there and just rebuild everything on top of all the other stuff. That's what you have to do. Which they say, some of them say they had plans for that too.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess. And the Saudis are all in on that too, because they're all the construction companies that want the stuff for rebuilding Gaza. So I thought that was interesting when I started looking into it. So somebody's going to come out ahead on it anyway. I don't know who it's going to be, but we'll see.
I don't know, man. Do we have the answers? I don't. Yeah, it's all crapola.
But it's the same thing with Hezbollah too in the north, so it's all the same thing.
People are throwing fireworks at the UCLA pro-Palestinian tents. Somebody shot fireworks over at the tents that 2 weeks ago, though. So this stuff's been going on for a while.
Well, I don't know how it's all going to keep going on because they're just making everybody else mad. Anyway, after a while, there's more people that are against you than supporting you because if you keep doing all that stuff, that's what happens. So I don't know how it's gonna keep going. So it's well, it only lasts till wintertime in Canada anyway, and then they'll all disappear. They might do it all summer, but once it starts being cold, all those people will disappear. Just like that. You wonder where they all went. They're hibernating for the winter.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're I don't know what to think. I just
well, all sorts of stuff is orchestrated, but I'm not so sure the responses to all the stuff is orchestrated.
Yeah,
because after a while, the regular people just get fed up and they say, "Well, enough of this."
Yeah. Well, I'm tired of it. I buy none of it on some stage. It's discredit what's happening. I just feel it's all orchestrated. But that's the.
Well, I think they're definitely trying to create chaos, but
yeah, but the powers that be are feeding that crap. Israel is definitely saying we've had enough of these sons of bitches, and we're gonna put them down. You know, Michigan didn't get much snow at all, huh, Kat? Wow.
Yeah, it's been a weird winter, but I think it has to do with all the volcanic eruptions and stuff.
Yeah, I think that added to it. You know, I do believe that El Nino is a huge part of it. Now we're going into La Nina, and the Southwest is going to get pounded by monsoons, and then the North not the Northwest, but the central north, up where my boy lives, he's going to get next year, he's going to get a ton of snow.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
just
and
the
like,
cycle,
and
man.
like, yeah, and like this year here, we never got too much snow, and it wasn't super cold.
Right. You had a
But
few days of snow for sure. You didn't burn through a whole lot of wood, but you did it
no,
was cold, but
and like this spring, it hasn't been super warm yet. Today's the first day we've had 73 here today.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's the
Shit, we've
first
been
day.
90s here. Right, early low 90s.
So that's the first day we've
Low,
had really
high 80s, low
above
90s.
70. We've been close to
And
70.
Colorado's got near 100 today. So we had 91 here and we're like 9 degrees cooler.
And that probably has to do with the Iceland eruptions, I think, because it's been.
The Iceland eruption, you know what? Probably. Hunga Tonga Happy Eye, that's a major role too. Because that was a massive explosion, threw so much water up in the air. And then El Nino did it too. They had, if you watch the report, like I did, I watched a lot of them almost every week. And I was like, damn, there's so much water going up in the air. Now it makes sense. But what's doing that? What's creating that cycle? What's behind El Nino and La Nina? Is it just that the earth is getting hotter? Well, it's letting off heat. It's cooling. I don't know.
Well,
I'd like to
it's
know
like
more about that.
it's like it's trying to balance itself out by whatever stuff that's happening, and then it tries to balance itself out or whatever. So then the
Yeah.
volcanoes blow up, and it tries to cool it down if it's too hot or whatever. Which all these people think they can control, or think that they're going to control,
Right.
and you can't really. You just have
Um,
to adapt to what it's doing.
yeah. Right.
That's all you can do.
This weekend, what do you got going on this weekend?
This weekend, I don't know.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be nice here, and it's a long May
May.
24 weekend, which they call it Victoria Day weekend here, the first official weekend
Well, that's next weekend. I'm talking
of
about
su-
18, 19.
yeah. Well, no, it's this weekend because it changes a little bit depending on the year.
Yeah, see,
This
ours
way,
is the next one, the 25, 27, I think, is the holiday.
yeah,
Memorial Day or Labor Day.
yeah, because ours Victoria Day is always like a week before
Correct.
your guys'
Correct.
Memorial Day.
Is it Memorial Day? Memorial.
Yeah, they call it the May two. They call it here the May 24
Yeah, May
weekend.
27. Yeah. And you got Victoria Day.
Yeah, which is about Queen Victoria. But everybody here says, "Oh, well, this is the first official summer weekend. Everybody goes to their cottage and
Yeah,
all
May
that
20.
stuff."
Queen Victoria, May 24. Queen's birthday was declared a holiday in Canada since
Yeah.
1845.
So it's like when the first official summer weekend, everybody goes and opens up their cottages and goes to their cottages and have all their parties and everything.
Yeah, slang for case of
Canada.
24 beers as well.
Yeah, that's what it means. May 24. Yeah,
Double entendre. Yeah, May
that's what
24.
they call it.
Drink a popular during a long weekend.
Of course, to me, it's just May 24. It's
Yeah, the 17th to 20th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked
Well,
is we can do another rabbit hole in a weekend if you want. If you're
yeah.
up.
Well, the problem is here everybody's selling their cottages now because the new thing the government put in this year is that capital gains tax is going up higher. So if you sell your cottage, it's taxed at 67% now. So everybody's selling all their cottages before the new thing comes into effect. because then they get more money. So everybody's all selling their cottages here right now because they don't want to do it after the new capital gains tax from the federal government comes in, because then you got to pay more money on your capital gains when you sell your property. So everybody's all trying to get rid of it before this new, because it's just the government's making up more ways to get taxes. That's all it is.
All right.
So it's exciting. So now everybody here is all trying to sell all their cottages. I don't know who's going to buy them all. China, probably. The Chinese will have lots of cottages.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're in 28 minutes. So, have anything else you want to add tonight? I'd like to do it again on the weekend.
Well, yeah, I'd probably do it
Friday.
Saturday again.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah. In the afternoon, or you want to do it in the evening?
No, I'd rather do it in the evening because I'm doing
evening.
stuff during the day.
All right, brother. So we'll do it on Saturday, whatever freaking date it is. Let me see. The 18th. Yeah. So we'll do it on Saturday the 18th, everybody, if you're willing. I'll be a little more prepared.
Yeah, we just winged it tonight. We went from the burning bush to the kids playing soccer to the fires in the north and the volcanoes in the south. We've been all over the place.
And little political uprisals everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, the New Caledonians are all riled up about whatever. I don't know. But
yeah. And somebody told these kids that they're important in all these schools, that they can camp out. Arrest their sons of bitches. Arrest them all. Put them in jail.
Yeah.
Put them in a gen pop. Let's see what happens.
Well, the kids told me again. The kids told me again today they could care less if they ever went to school. So they tell me every time I'm there.
Well, they're smart kids anyway. Yeah. I recommend homeschooling and trade school. Trade school. Learn a trade, everybody. Learn how to swing a hammer or work a computer or start a business. And well, she's doing it. She's starting her business.
When they got there after school today, they said the heater was on the bus. I said the heater was on the bus. I said it's so they were all like roasting to death. They came in the house and I said, "Why do you guys look like? Why is your face all red? What were you doing?" And they said, "Nothing. We were just on the bus." The heater was on the bus. So they were all like thirsting to death and everything. I don't know what they're. I said, I guess the school people here is trying to like kill all the kids or something. I don't know. I don't know what they'd have the heater on the bus for today. It's like 70 degrees out.
Crazy.
It's pretty nuts. So they were all, I thought they'd been all like, were you guys like running around or something? So they all came in the house. They were drinking water like crazy. And the boy twin took his jacket off and his shirt. And he said, "I'm like roasting to death." I said, "Well, it's not that hot out. What's going on?" And then he started telling me that the heater was on in the bus. I said, "Well, what?" I said, "Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would the heater be on in the bus?"
The driver.
It's like summertime, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably no part driving. I'm always cold, man. Yeah. Well, so, anyway,
I don't know. It's crazy stuff. Anyway.
Well, okay, we ended with your kids. We ended with the kids. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on Saturday this same time. And